Here's your KNDY updated weatherology forecast for northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska. I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Sunny skies today with daytime highs approaching 91. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight, lows level off around 65. High of 92. Tomorrow, bright sunshine expected. I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Right now, it's 84 degrees.
Mid-America Network News. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office said it removed 2 horses and 9 dogs from a home in Wayside during an animal cruelty investigation. The Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant on July 26 and found the animals malnourished and injured at a home. Deputies removed the animals from the home and arranged for their treatment by a veterinarian. The case remains under investigation. No suspects have been arrested. A driver was caught speeding 71 miles per hour over the limit on a western Kansas highway yesterday morning in Hamilton County. A deputy clocked a driver traveling 136 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone on Kansas Highway 27. The fine for speeding 30 miles over the limit is $195 plus $15 per mile over the original 30 miles over the limit, which would amount to $615.
Professional excavators and homeowners, safety always comes first, and safe digging is no accident. So before you begin your next digging project, remember to call Kansas 811 to have your underground utility lines marked for free. Know what's below. Call 811 before you dig. So play it safe. Put down the shovel, pick up the phone, and call 811 first. This message is brought to you by Kansas 811, reminding you that no matter if your digging project is big or small, don't make a judgment call. Always call 811 before you dig.
Have you noticed that the number of box stores that sell bed mattresses is dwindling? There's a reason why people that dip their toes into the water of bed mattresses end up buying at Derby Mattress of Derby. Lower everyday prices that beat the box store sales prices every day. Also, Derby Mattress is the only store in town that has natural organic latex with no man-made foams, as well as 2-sided mattresses. For everyday low prices, go to Derby Mattress at 105 South Baltimore in Derby today.
A 25-year-old man had to be life-flighted after being struck by a vehicle while he was riding an e-bike. Yesterday afternoon, the Riley County Police Department was called to respond to an accident. When officers arrived, they found the 25-year-old had been struck by a vehicle driven by an 83-year-old man. The bicyclist was transported to a local hospital for treatment. He was later life-flighted to a Topeka hospital. The 83-year-old was ticketed for failure to yield the right-of-way. Kansas students are preparing to head back to class in a couple of weeks, and high school freshmen have new graduation requirements. The class of 2028 is the first class that will have these new requirements. Instead of 4 English language arts credits, students will need 3.5, with an extra half credit focusing on communication, which could include speech, debate, forensics, and journalism. I'm Stephanie Austin.
Duzine Enterprises has been laying floors all over our area since 1962. That's miles and miles of carpet, laminate, tile, hardwood, and vinyl. And they are so good at it that their schedule is filling up fast. So while good things come to those who wait, if you have a remodel or a new construction project in your near future, you should probably get on their schedule today. So call 785-325-2379. That's 785-325-2379. Duzine Enterprises in Washington. Why would you go anywhere else? Financing available.
Nebraska Mid-America Network News, I am Felix Johnson. With a special session record of 81 bills and 24 constitutional amendments introduced this past week has been one for the history books. It was all eyes on one bill in particular, LB1, which is Governor Jim Pillen's plan to take an axe to property tax bills. Mark Beating, an LB1 supporter, had this to say in front of Congress.
That's why I'm here today, because my wife wants our 4 sons and our 11 grandchildren who live 10 minutes from us to stay 10 minutes from us.
Rachel Gibson recognizes that property taxes are a problem, but shifting the problem to sales taxes won't help her.
Sales taxes won't help her.
This bill, just the repairs on our car would be $600, and that's
It's a lot. There has to be a way to find something that's equitable.
Nebraska Mid-American Network News.
At Rusty at Ford, it's the dog days of summer, and we have the coolest deals on the hottest models. Get treated like top dog with sizzling deals on the 2024 Escape, Expedition, Edge, and the best-selling truck in America for 47 years, the Ford F-150. 0% APR for 36 months, or 2023 Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. 0% APR for 60 months, or 2023 Mach-E. 0% APR for 72 months. Get your paws on a new ride during our Dog Days of Summer sales event, only at Rusty Eck Ford. 0% APR in 2024 Escape, Expedition, Edge, and America's #1 selling truck, the F-150. Visit Rusty Eck Ford or rustyeckford.com today.
Absolutely unbeatable.
Escape $1,667 per thousand financed. Mach-E $1,389 per thousand financed. 2024 is $2,777 per thousand financed. Plus taxes and fees. Offers can be combined with approved credit. Must finance with Ford Motor Credit.
Reporting local news, I'm Katie Jeter. With the primary election upcoming Tuesday, our candidate spotlight turns to state races, including contested Senate positions. Elaine Bowers of Concordia is incumbent state senator.
Well, we have a start. Our bill, we went back with the governor's veto override. We had a new bill. So the first $75,000 of your house will be exempt moving forward with this Senate Bill 1. So that's a start. And as we left the Capitol, we knew there's more to do, so we'll work on that when we go back. I do believe, as I listen to the local officials, and by the way, I really admire everyone who's running for the local jobs, of what the revenue neutral rate law isn't working as good as some legislators had thought. So we do need to look at tweaking that, especially the postage that goes out. I understand there was a timeline problem this year with mailing these out when we got done with special session, so that wasn't mentioned strongly enough for us to fix that. So those are just some of the beginnings of it, but this is what we hear: property taxes are too high and what can we do about it? So we are still paying attention to that in Topeka, but also understanding it's a function of local government.
Robert Bonanata of Lucas is running as challenger.
I am a homeowner. I don't know enough about the subject on property tax reform. I would like to say, though, but by incentivizing small business growth in the state of Kansas and expanding tourism, and I mean, you can look at it for yourself. All around us, every state around us has legalized marijuana, and their economies are booming. They have money to spend on jails and things like that. They have money sitting in the bank to be able to purchase things whenever other things fail or stuff happens, because stuff happens in life, like, you know. So I know that property taxes, I pay too much. You guys probably pay too much too. We need to get somebody in there to look at it from the ground up. I don't know a lot of what I would be looking at, but I would have the capabilities to hire individuals who are professionals in those fields to be able to help me out in those areas.
State Senator Dennis Pyle of Hiawatha is another incumbent senator.
Well, there's been a lot of attempts over the years to try to get our arms around this property tax valuation system, but it is broken. And part of the problem out there is all your local governments depend so heavily on the property tax. You get out of western Kansas, that's a mainstay for them. And so when you try to do reform, you're going to have to try to face the problems that face the local governments. I've been close to those people for a long time. But I will say this. When 169 in 2023 was vetoed by the governor, that bill had corporate tax cuts in it. It had $340 million for the upper bracket. It was called a flat tax, a single rate tax. It did not have the Social Security. And I will tell you, when we met with the governor, colleagues of mine, other Republicans, that was one of the things that I said to Governor Laura Kelly: you have to exempt Social Security. And we introduced that bill before the House ever took it up, had the property tax relief in it, had all of those measures. But the Social Security was in Senate Bill 377. You can look it up, and neither the House nor the Senate took that bill up because it was the governor's plan. But it was also a plan that I had a lot of input in, and that's how we got Social Security.
Dr. John Epley of Atchison is running as challenger.
Well, gosh, folks, I'm pretty troubled over the bill that we ended up passing. It was a mediocre bill at best, and my nice opponent here wants to claim a lot of credit for that, but I guarantee you, the property tax relief bill started in the House Tax Committee, which I sit on, and we looked at Social Security over and over, and we put it in every single bill. We sent it to the Senate, and guess what? It was over, we couldn't override the governor's veto. So, you can figure that out. We've talked enough about that. I don't have enough time to go into that, but you need to understand that clearly. This is a layup. This started in the House as far as Social Security, and that's where it ended finally. And we finally got it passed in this mediocre bill that you passed. But the thing that we didn't do enough of is we did not give you enough property tax relief. As Senator Bauer so nicely said, we could have had a higher deduction on our homes, and there is a bill that passed the Senate that I'm intrigued by that is a constitutional amendment that actually caps appraised value. We have got to do something about appraised value so we don't all feel like that we're serfs or that we are renting from the state through our property tax. It's absurd.
A second challenger is Greg Bowser of Holton, who was not in attendance at the Marshall County Candidate Forum. Mail-in ballots for the primary may be requested, and advanced voting at county clerk's offices will close Monday at noon, with polling locations open then on Tuesday.
Rosalinda Lindy Prawley, age 96, passed away Friday. Funeral service Friday, 1:30 at St. Peter's Lutheran Church, Wymore, with a graveside service at the Odell American Cemetery prior to the service. Visitation Thursday, 10 until 8. Family will greet friends Thursday from 6 until 7:30 at the Laughlin Home Funeral Home of Wymore, in charge of arrangements for Lindy Prawley.
It's that time of year. Hey, Blue Valley customers, come see us this summer at one of the county fairs to pick up your customer appreciation coupons for the 4-H food stands. Help us celebrate another year of keeping our communities connected and how much we appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Find the full schedule at bluevalley.net/summer.
Kester House Museum Foundation will feature another outdoor movie this Thursday evening at 8:30, showing Princess Bride in a summer classic series. Free, bring your lawn chairs, blankets, and bug spray. Free ice water and popcorn provided. If you have an oldie you'd like to see under the stars, phone 785-927-0523 with your suggestions. Free movie at the Kester House Gardens in Marysville Thursday evening at 8:30, showing Princess Bride.
Here's your KNDY weatherology forecast for northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska. Sunshine today with our highs in the lower to upper 90s. Mostly clear skies overnight tonight with our lows in the upper 60s and lower 70s. More sunshine throughout the day on Friday with our highs in the lower to upper 90s. And mostly clear skies throughout Friday night with our lows in the mid to upper 60s. Still staying sunny throughout Saturday with our highs in the mid 90s. And mostly clear skies throughout Saturday night with our lows in the mid to upper 60s. Still staying sunny as we head into Sunday with our highs in the upper 90s and lower 100s. Then mostly clear skies throughout Sunday night with our lows in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Warmer on Monday, sunshine with our highs in the upper 90s and lower 100s. And mostly clear skies throughout Monday night with our lows in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Still more sunshine throughout the day on Tuesday with our highs in the mid 90s and lower 100s. Then partly cloudy skies throughout Tuesday night with our lows in the mid 60s and lower 70s. Still staying sunny as we head into Wednesday with our highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster.
Average high temperature, early August, 91. Record high on this date, 110. The average low, 69. The record low, 49. Sunset this evening, 8:39. Sunrise in the morning at 6:28. We were on the shorter end of precipitation amounts. Wednesday evening ranging from a quarter to 3/4 inch across the region. We had less than 0.10 of an inch here at studios in Marysville.
High humidity can make your home-baked cookies turn out soggy. Today, some baking advice for the dog days of summer on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report.
If you're a farmer or rancher, chances are you've thought about joining Kansas Farm Bureau. So what's stopping you? Your membership means you have a seat at the table when it comes to the issues that affect your farm. Things like trade, taxes, water, and regulations. The state's largest farm advocacy organization brings your message to policy decision makers at the county, state, and national level. The voice of agriculture becomes your voice and fights for Kansas farmers and ranchers. And a Kansas Farm Bureau membership includes other benefits. For about $50 a year, you'll receive discounts on equipment and supplies, cell phone plans, financial and legal support, home and office supplies, and more. You'll also receive Kansas Living, a quarterly lifestyle magazine featuring real stories of farmers and producers around the state, plus great recipes, crafts, and things to see and do in Kansas. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/Farmer Rancher to learn more.
With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, August 1st, the 214th day of the year. Star-Spangled Banner writer Francis Scott Key was born on this day, and it was opening night for American Graffiti in 1973. Most of us try to use the oven sparingly in the heat of summer, but if you have a baking project that can't be delayed, you may need to compensate for additional moisture in your flour, sugar, or baking powder. If they seem clumpy and moist, try reducing liquids in the recipe by about a quarter. Then extend baking times in 5-minute increments as needed. Excess moisture can be prevented by storing dry ingredients in vacuum-sealed containers or even in the refrigerator. Just be sure they return to room temperature before using. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more at almanac.com.
For all your propane and propane delivery needs, contact Hoover's in Greenleaf. Call 747-2201. Propane is safe, propane is clean burning, and propane is economical. Hoover's in Greenleaf offers prompt delivery and excellent customer service. Give Hoover's in Greenleaf a call today, 747-2201. That's Hoover's in Greenleaf.
Goog's Bar and Grill in Hanover is hosting a Little Blue River catfishing contest starting Friday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. Over $800 worth of prizes with a side prize for largest turtle brought in. Registration and rules will be announced August 2nd, 6 p.m. at Goog's Bar and Grill in Hanover. Contact Mark at 785-562-8273 with questions and test your fishing skills August 2nd with Goog's Bar and Grill's Little Blue Catfishing Contest.
For all your gas and service needs, it's OK Service Station in Hanover. You'll get fast, friendly, dependable service every time you visit. They have fuel available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Ask how you can get a gas card for 24-hour fueling at OK Service. They also handle tires, tire repair, exhaust work, and oil changes too. Stop by, say hi to the folks at OK Service in Hanover.
KNDY.
Kansas Mid-American Network Sports. I'm Andy Hoosier. College football is right around the corner across the nation, even right here in the state of Kansas, with fall football camps starting up at many universities. One of them have already started at the University of Kansas. As KSN News reports, the Jayhawks ended up heading into their fall preparations as of earlier this week, with the team beginning to look at some of their starters for the year, including junior quarterback Jelon Daniels, but the team says it was to see him back on the field after seeing his back injury last season. In a statement from KU head coach Lance Leipold, he said, quote, "I think some of the things that we're talking about embracing and enjoying and having some of that confidence, I want that to carry through for the team. This is 24 season and will be evaluated now on what happens here going forward. We've got to stay focused on where we're going because we've accomplished some things and we have a lot more that we need to be doing to be a consistent program." We are just weeks away from game number 1 of college football season as the Jayhawks kick off on August 29th at home against Lindenwood.
We want to see ya in your perfect ride. We want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
Hey Wichita, it's Morgan, and I'm here to tell you about my friends at Midwest Kia. If you're in the market for a new Kia, they have over 150 new Kias on the lot and ready to go. They have the sporty K5 and Sorento, the redesigned Sportage, and everyone's favorite, the Telluride. At Midwest Kia, they never price over sticker. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. Their finance team will help you get in the right vehicle at a payment you are comfortable with. The service department is scheduling appointments to keep your new Kia in peak form and get you back on the road as soon as possible. All new Kias come with their 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. At Midwest Kia, they offer a simple, transparent, and fast, better way to buy your next vehicle. Go see them today at Midwest Kia or MidwestKia.com. And remember,
we want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty.
after the proposal from the Kansas State Legislature at the end of the session for 2024, offering opportunities for the Kansas City teams to be able to move over across the state line over to the Kansas side. The battle has now escalated, with the ongoing battle now looking at property tax rates in both states. As WIBW reports, that Sean Smith, a legislator from the state of Missouri, has now proposed a property tax reform for the teams in order to keep them within the state of Missouri. As right now, both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Kansas City Royals have plans of renovation for their stadiums up until their leases expire for the year of 2031, with the plans of sinking in near $2 billion worth of renovations to both stadiums. However, after Jackson County ended up rejecting a 3/8 cents sales tax for the next 40 years for the stadiums, Missouri State Rep. Smith has proposed a new plan, reducing the tax amount from 3/8 cents to 1/4 cent. He also proposed a change for a sunset date to end the tax within 5 years of whatever time that there are no teams left at the sports complex.
Croc Family Insurance is here to help you find the right insurance products to protect what matters most to you. As an independent agency, they represent over 80 companies that allow options for the right products at the right cost. See Brian Croc today for home, auto, commercial coverage, and more. Call or stop by at 1119 Broadway, just west of the courthouse in Marysville. Find them online at crocfamilyinsurance.com. For complete coverage and a competitive quote, reach out to Croc Family Insurance in Marysville.
Hop in, let's go to Honeyman Ford in Seneca, the best place to be.
Skip the drive. Come see us right here in Marysville, Kansas. At Honeyman Auto Sales and Service, you will find the same honest sales experience backed by the same reliable service. With the same goals in mind, our Marysville location is sure to provide you with a satisfying vehicle experience. Find us on Facebook or stop in at 1122 Pony Express Highway today.
Have you driven a Honeyman Ford lately?
Generations have relied on Kinsley's of Marysville, the Padden Funeral Chapel in Frankfort, Hanover Mortuary, Ward Funeral Homes of Lynn and Washington, and Landreth Axtell Funeral Home. You can continue to rely on the professional experience that they provide and the heartfelt concern that they offer each family that they serve. Caring concern in your family's time of need.
Kansas Republicans love our nation and state, but we know things are headed in the wrong direction. Joe Biden's runaway inflation is making it harder for families to make ends meet, and his border crisis is putting our families in danger. Dr. John Epley has the prescription to make things better. A fourth-generation Kansan and lifelong Republican, Dr. John Epley has been a trusted rural family doctor for over 40 years. A proven conservative, Dr. John Epley is pro-life, a defender of the Second Amendment, and helped write the bill to ban transgender surgery for minors because the woke liberal agenda has no place in Kansas. And Dr. Epley knows nothing is more important than securing our southern border. He supports fighting illegal immigration by sending troops to secure the border and keep criminals and deadly drugs out of Kansas. Rural doctor, conservative fighter, Kansas roots. Conservative Republican Dr. John Epley for State Senate.
Paid for by Epley for State Senate, Patsy Porter, Treasurer.
Circular spots on the lower leaves of tomatoes may mean your tomatoes are infested with Septoria leaf spot. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. The small spots of Septoria leaf spot are tan or gray with dark brown margins. As the disease progresses, the leaves may turn yellow, then brown, and die. The disease progresses up the plant but seldom infects the fruit. Infected plants usually survive, but with very few leaves and fruit. This loss of leaves will result in a smaller harvest. Remove diseased leaves as soon as they are found to reduce the spread of the disease. Then do a thorough cleanup in fall. Mulch the soil to help keep soil-borne fungal spores off the plant. Properly space and stake or tower the plants for better air circulation and fewer diseases. Avoid overhead watering by using soaker hoses or drip irrigation, and rotate your planting locations each year if space allows. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips. Whether you're planting your first vegetable garden or looking to add a bit of pizzazz to your landscape, I'd like to help. Hi, I'm gardening expert Melinda Myers. Visit melindamyers.com. You'll find my gardening tips, videos, audio segments, and the Ask Melinda section with my answers to your frequently asked questions. Plus, check out the plant profiles and planting guides for help selecting the right plant for your growing conditions and garden design. Have fun and be successful in your garden. Visit melindamyers.com. Hi, I'm gardening expert Melinda Myers. Want to increase your gardening skills and grow beautiful and productive gardens? The Great Courses, How to Grow Anything DVD series can help. As host of the series, I show you how to design, plant, and maintain gorgeous gardens. So join me in becoming the best gardener you can be. The 4 Great Courses, How to Grow Anything DVD sets cover such topics as container gardening, landscape design, food gardening, and more. Visit melindamyers.com for more details.
Buying a house? Do things seem scary? Don't panic. You have a champion behind you. Marshall County Abstract and Title Company at 1110 Broadway Street in Marysville is here to fight for your property rights. When you are ready to purchase real estate, you just can't have anyone better on your side than Marshall County Abstract and Title Company. If you need help with any and all aspects of your real estate transactions, stop by our office any weekday from 8:30 to 5 and get the advice you need. Or call 562-3071. Relax. We are here to help.
In northeastern Montana, you'll find a rodeo that is over 100 years old. With that kind of track record, you know they have to be doing something well to attract large crowds for all of those years. I'll take you there on this edition of the American Countryside.
What's the first thing you do in the morning? For many farmers and ranchers, it's checking weather and market updates. Make AgWeb Daily Newsletter part of your morning routine. Not only bringing you essential news and weather updates, but also covering topics such as smart farming and agriculture's next generation. And each weekday, stay informed and stay ahead with AgWeb Market Weekly. Whether you're at home or in the field, AgWeb Market Weekly keeps you connected and competitive, delivered straight to your inbox. Subscribe to both today at agweb.com and never miss a beat.
I'm Ty Morgan, host of U.S. Farm Report, the only weekend television show that features some of agriculture's biggest names. From custom commentary from John Phipps to the stories of antique iron with Machinery Pete to a list of more than 30 marketing analysts, our weekly program focuses on the topics that matter most to you. We invite you to join us each weekend for U.S. Farm Report, timely, trusted tradition.
Wolf Point, Montana was incorporated as a town in 1915, and in those early years, local cowboys and Native Americans were known to stage impromptu rodeos on the town's dirt streets. Christy Stanslin says that just a few years later, the state's oldest rodeo was born.
In 1921, the Commercial Club decided to make it an organized event. The Palmer Brothers Circus was scheduled to be in town the last weekend in July, and so it just made sense they would hold a stampede, and the Wild Horse Stampede was born.
Initially, the location of the rodeo was not so much permanent as it was simply created at the time of the event.
In those days, they just parked cars around a ball field. There were chutes and an arena built out where the high school was, and then later moved down to Marvin Brookman Stadium.
Marvin Brookman was a local cowboy who built his own stock contracting company and is in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. This is a big-time event held annually the second weekend in July. They'll have around 300 contestants at the rodeo each year and huge crowds for the event. It's a rodeo that has been part of the town from the very beginning.
Everyone wants to come home to Stampede, and I think that everyone that grows up here claims to have been a part of it. And even if you just grew up here and attended here, you own the Wolf Point Wild Horse Stampede.
From 1943 to 1945, there was no rodeo held due to World War II. Other than those years, the Stampede here is a big draw for competitors and spectators from around the region, just as it has been since back in 1925. Traveling the countryside in Wolf Point, Montana, I'm Andrew McCrae.
Sapp Brothers Petroleum wants to remind everyone that propane renewals are due August 15th. Don't let Old Man Winter sneak up on you this year. Give them a call at 785-337-2446. Maximize your savings with a guaranteed propane contract and lock in your price for 1 to 3 winners with Sapp Brothers Petroleum. First year's lease payment is free for any new customer, so call for a quote. Servicing residential and farming to commercial and industrial needs. That's Sapp Brothers Petroleum, treating you like family with service that'll make you want to come back.
Egg size isn't determined by dimensions or how big an egg looks. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. It's the total weight of a dozen that classes eggs anywhere from peewee to jumbo as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country.
You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
Check out our full lineup of Successful Farming podcasts. The Successful Farming podcast goes in-depth into the topics that affect farmers and ranchers. The 15 Minutes with a Farmer podcast offers a quick conversation between an editor and a farmer. The SF Shorts podcast offers bite-sized interviews about agricultural topics. And the SF Daily podcast covers commodity markets, weather, and the big things happening in agriculture each morning. Search for Successful Farming wherever you download your podcasts. If you're looking for ideas and inspiration for your place in the country, register for the Living the Country Life newsletter. You'll receive helpful tips and information about a wide variety of seasonal topics, including pets, livestock, gardening, machinery, and more, delivered straight to your inbox twice each month. Sign up for your newsletter today at agriculture.com.
When you go to the grocery store and buy a carton of eggs, do you pay attention to the size? Maybe you open it to find some eggs are bigger than others, even though the carton is labeled as medium. David Frame is an extension poultry specialist at Utah State University. He says eggs are sized not individually, but based on ounces per dozen.
So when you go into the store and you see large eggs, that's 24 ounces per dozen. Extra large eggs would weigh 27 ounces per dozen, and medium eggs would weigh 21 ounces per dozen. And they're the three main weights that you normally see in retail stores.
There are many factors that go into what size of egg a chicken will lay, and backyard chicken owners may be surprised to find a whole gamut of sizes from their birds. Frame says it depends on the breed, the age of the bird, its weight, a pullet versus a hen, and even environmental conditions. If you're making a recipe that calls for one large egg and you only have small, it's not going to matter much. But when the recipe calls for multiple eggs, you'll have to make adjustments. For example, 4 small eggs are equal to 3 large ones. Sometimes when I crack open an extra large egg, there are 2 yolks in it. Those eggs are usually laid by a pullet when she first comes into production.
The ovary, instead of depositing one ovum, or what will become the egg yolk, into the oviduct, which forms the egg, it actually drops 2 of them. And then, of course, all the albumin and material gets around those 2 yolks, and they're treated as basically one egg. And then when they go down into the shell gland, the shell is formed, and they come out as a large egg. And usually they're kind of oblong shaped, too.
Learn more about egg sizing and how to work your recipes with it at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com.
Frugality can be a good thing or not so good. Hi, I'm Rob West with a Faith and Finance Minute. Carolyn Kolupka wrote a piece about this for faithfi.com. She notes that frugality means being careful with your financial resources. And yes, a frugal person could be exhibiting the commendable virtues of patience and self-control. But frugality could result from selfishness and greed, clutching things tightly and typically being unwilling to share and be generous. The point is that frugality isn't an end itself. Being careful with one's financial resources becomes good when it's in service to the idea that we are stewards of what belongs to the Lord. Frugality shouldn't be about being cheap, but about being a wise steward of what belongs to God. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
This is Mike Vermetten, running for Marshall County Magistrate Judge. Over my 18 years in Marshall County law enforcement, I've worked honestly and truthfully for the public. Stepping into the role of judge for me is a call for change in the county. I'd appreciate your vote August 6th, paid for by Mike Vermetten for Marshall County Magistrate Judge. Stacy Vermetten, Treasurer.
Making sure all parties on the farm are on board with risk management. Today on Farm to Fork. If you're ready to try a highly effective microbial soil inoculant, then Rhizol from ProGrow Bio should be your first choice. Rhizol offers multiple benefits like enhanced biomass, bigger yields, and improved soil health. 100% organic and works with conventional or organic crops, and comes in a soluble dry form for easy handling and long shelf life. Search the web for RHIZOL from ProGrow Bio.
Hey there, it's Mike Rowe, and if you're out there getting dirty, do me a favor and remember to call or click 811 before you dig. And when I say dig, I refer to any activity requiring boring, tilling, drilling, probing, reaming, plowing, drudging, or even scoping. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811 so that you can avoid all those buried pipes, wires, and cables underground. To sum up, call or click 811 before you dig and visit safeexcavator.com for more information.
Multiple stakeholder farms can complicate any risk strategy planning. Purdue University ag economist Jim Mintert.
There's no single right answer, but the key here is to get these issues on the table and discuss them, which a lot of times in our experience, farms don't have these discussions.
Mintert says the topic is timely.
Do we have sufficient equity and liquidity to handle adversity in a cyclical downturn? And that's a good point to talk about in 2024 because we're in the early stages of a cyclical downturn.
Mintert's colleague, Michael Langemeyer, notes there can be generational obstacles.
A lot of times the younger generation are fairly risk neutral. They want to grow, and so they're willing to take on debt, whereas the older generation, they've just got done paying off some loans, perhaps for some land, and they're a little bit more leery about taking on debt. You've got to come to an agreement.
Langemeyer says these discussions need to be based on an up-to-date balance sheet at a minimum.
I encourage people to go one step further and really start thinking about developing financial statements. A lot of farms have a balance sheet and a cash flow, but do not necessarily have an income statement. And, of course, my favorite statement, the sources and uses of funds statement.
More tomorrow. That's Farm to Fork. I'm Darrell Anderson.
Belleville Healthcare and Rehab Center invites everyone out to the North Central Kansas Free Fair starting July 29th. There will be fun activities for the whole family. From Belleville Healthcare and Rehab Center, specialized care with in-house therapies, short-term rehab to home, advanced recovery, total wellness.
Good Thursday. I'm your farm broadcaster, Sam Speck, with your latest agricultural news here on the Mid-America Ag Network. Well, the July cattle on feed report showed the on-feed number slightly above last year. Dr. Darrell Peel, a livestock market economist with Oklahoma State University Extension, talks about the report numbers.
The July cattle on feed report showed placements in the month of June at 93% of last year. That's a little bit less, actually, than the pre-report estimates. Marketings in June were 91% of last year. That's about on par with the expectations. And so that gives us a July 1 on-feed total that rounds up to 101%. But really it's just up 0.5% over last year.
He does say the report is bullish for beef.
We are a little bit above last year's numbers on feed, but a little bit less than the pre-report estimate. So all in all, this is probably a little bit bullish report. The other thing that's important to keep in mind here is that we had 2 less days in this June of 2024 compared to a year ago. It doesn't happen very often that we get 2 days difference in a year-to-year comparison of a month. And so that means that marketing number, for example, at 91%, you adjust it for 2 less days. That's basically a marketing number that's even with a year ago. And so that's a pretty respectable marketing number.
Peel talks about the numbers for steers and heifers.
Yeah, so we get the breakdown of steers and heifers in the feedlot. The steers were actually up nearly 1%. Heifers were even with a year ago in terms of the number of heifers in the feedlot. When you look at heifers as a percent of the feedlot total, that's the number we've been following pretty closely for the last couple of years. It actually went back up compared to the April quarter. So we're right at 40%, 39.6% of all the cattle in the feedlot on July 1st were still heifers. So we're continuing to feed a lot of heifers is the bottom line.
Once again, from the Oklahoma State University Extension, that's livestock market economist Dr. Darrell Peel. And I'm your farm broadcaster, Sam Speck, with your latest check of agricultural news here on this Thursday afternoon, only here on the Mid-America Ag Network.
You know, farmers, top yields come from quality seed. Wheat farmers, check this out.
Westbred 4422 and 4401 are varieties that work well through all of Mid-America. 4422 has very good straw strength, has excellent yields and good drought tolerance, and is good for grain or pasture graze out. Check out Westbred 4422 and 4401.
This is Dustin at Kaufman Seeds. Give us a call for all your seed needs. Call 800-634-2836. Kaufman Seeds.
Your home for all the latest in Kansas, regional, and national agricultural news is the Mid-America Ag Network. I'm your farm broadcaster, Sam Speck. Join me daily for the latest ag news, statewide weather, and hourly commodity market updates. Also join agriculture radio legend Larry Steckline both Tuesdays and Fridays for a deep dive into the world of agriculture with the Steckline Report. The Mid-America Ag Network has been a 7-state region trusted source for everything in the world of agriculture for 20 years. So join us daily through our many great affiliates.
During the summer months, flies can cause severe stress and annoyance to your livestock, leading to decreased weight gain and milk production. One stop at Valley Vet Supply in Marysville solves all those problems. From fly tags, dust control, spray, pour-on options to liquid and solid feed solutions. Applicator options include cattle rubs and mineral feeder lids that coat the head of your cattle with insecticide. Protect your herd and livelihood this season with one stop at Valley Vet Supply in Marysville.
Valley Vet Supply.
To spray or not to spray, there are factors to consider before you apply fungicides on your corn. Disease levels are number one on Successful Farming Radio.
Successful Farming Radio, providing information farmers need in the field, in the shop, and in the office. Committed to growing your business in agriculture.
Check out our full lineup of Successful Farming podcasts. The Successful Farming podcast goes in-depth into the topics that affect farmers and ranchers. The 15 Minutes with a Farmer podcast offers a quick conversation between an editor and a farmer. The SF Shorts podcast offers bite-sized interviews about agricultural topics. And the SF Daily podcast covers commodity markets, weather, and the big things happening in agriculture each morning. Search for Successful Farming wherever you download your podcasts.
Get the latest ag news, markets, weather, and more when you sign up for today's news from Successful Farming. Register at agriculture.com/newsletter for today's news, the free Successful Farming e-newsletter. Once a day, you'll get an email packed with relevant news hitting the ag industry online and around the nation, along with the 3 big things happening today. Visit agriculture.com/newsletter to subscribe to today's news from Successful Farming.
Soggy conditions in much of the Corn Belt this spring delayed planting. This could also mean delayed harvest in the fall, which sets up a risk for fungal diseases. Northern corn leaf blight, gray leaf spot, tar spot, and others could affect yields. Before you spray fungicides, there are several factors to consider, such as environmental conditions and where the diseases are showing up. Darren Mueller is an extension plant pathologist at Iowa State University. He says you can get a good indication of disease pressure without walking into the field. A lot of your scouting can be done from the computer.
One of the things you can be doing is reading newsletters from seed companies or the extension services from not just your state, but the states around you, looking at Twitter or whatever social media that you are on, and just look for the chatter. So if tar spot's blowing up in the same areas, you're going to hear about it. Once you start seeing that chatter, you should be walking out in the field and making sure that what they're seeing would be reflecting on what's going on locally.
Know the foliar disease resistance of the hybrid you're growing. On intermediate and moderately resistant hybrids, any yield benefit would not cover the costs of the fungicide application.
My encouragement would be to be using a fungicide when a fungicide is needed. And so try to not look at yield response when you're considering a fungicide, and that's hard to do. But really, that yield response will happen if you're applying the fungicide to manage the fungus at a high enough level that would warrant a fungicide.
I'm Jody Henke. Read more about the decision to apply fungicide on corn at agriculture.com.
Third Road Ag Sales have Concept by Agritech. Innovative technology and proven products improve soil health, increase yields, and allow greater return on your investments. See the difference for yourself with a call today to Third Road Ag. Hay producers, remember they offer American Family Net Wrap and can fill your needs today. Check out Third Road Ag Sales on Facebook.
From Kansas State University, this is Agriculture Today. I'm Jacob Clout. K-State's annual Risk and Profit Conference will be held in Manhattan, Kansas on August 15th through the 16th at the Alumni Center. K-State Extension Assistant Rich Llewellyn encourages all involved in agriculture to attend as he discusses the speakers that will be featured at this year's conference.
We have a main speaker, a keynote speaker coming from USDA. He's the chief economist for U.S. Department of Agriculture, Seth Meyer. And so he'll be talking about policy, but also have some outlook on farm income for the year and just some things going on in the agriculture world. And so we'll have Dan O'Brien with Grain Outlook. That'll be one of the general sessions on Friday. And the other one on Friday will be a livestock market outlook with Glenn Tonzer from our department. And then we have 22 different topics in the breakout sessions from our faculty. It's a good chance for them to get engaged with farmers and lenders and others in the ag community, and for folks to meet them and talk to them on some of their recent research.
He highlights a couple of breakout sessions happening at the event.
We've got quite a few going on, but some of them are policy-oriented. Jenny Ift is our Flinchbaugh chair for farm policy, and so she's going to look at why do we have a farm safety net. She's also looking at some other things that deal with conservation and Kansas farm income. We have another one that's looking at transition planning, and it'll be a discussion with Ashley Westerhold. We have some livestock topics as well, feedlot adoption of methane emission mitigating technology, as well as some insights on meat demand from Glenn Tonzer.
Llewellyn outlines hotel and registration details for this conference.
Well, the conference takes place at the K-State Alumni Center, which is on the south side by Memorial Stadium of the K-State campus, and we have a hotel block at the Holiday Inn, used to be the Ramada Inn, across the street. So parking can be at the Alumni Center or in the parking garage. That makes it pretty easy. The conference fee is $235 for both days. We also have a one-day registration of $185. And so folks can come for the whole thing, or if they're just available one day or another, they can come for that. We'd like to have these registrations in no later than August 12th, I believe it is. And the hotel block will actually close the first part of August 1st. They'll need to get their hotel reservation.
That was Kansas State University Extension Assistant Rich Llewellyn with the speakers, breakout sessions, and registration details for the 2024 Risk and Profit Conference at K-State. I'm Jacob Clout. This has been Agriculture Today over the K-State Radio Network.
Landall in Marysville is seeking a mechanic. Duties would include inspecting vehicle engine and mechanical electrical components to diagnose and fix issues accurately. Will conduct routine maintenance work, aiming to vehicle functionality and longevity. Provide accurate estimates for repair or maintenance. This would include, but not limited to, auto fleet, over-the-road trucks, forklifts, and etc. Salary based on experience and qualifications. A full benefit package available and includes paid time off, paid holidays, comprehensive insurance, profit sharing, 401k, gas allowance to drive to work, and more. Successful candidates must have good attendance, attention to detail, communication skills, and provide total customer satisfaction. Landall Company in Marysville is looking for a mechanic. Apply online at landall.com. EEO Vets and Disability, welcome.
Good Thursday afternoon. Sam's back with your latest market information here on the Mid-America Ag Network. Well, as we pass through midday now, we are seeing quite an interesting day in the livestock. The cattle markets have taken quite the beating, especially for the feeders. August feeder cattle now down $3.85 at $253.40. September feeders down $5.05 per hundredweight at $252.05. Live cattle also triple-digit lower. August live cattle down $167 at $185.45. October down $257 at $184.10. The one light spot has certainly been the hogs. August lean hogs up 70 cents at $92.97. October to $77.17. That's $1.25 higher. Now into the grains and oil seeds. The wheat market is still striving. That includes Chicago, Spring, Kansas City wheat, all higher. September KC wheat now up 7 1/4 at $5.56 1/4. December to $5.72 1/2. That's up 6 3/4 cents. Now September oats is down 1/4 cent at $3.26, but December and beyond are all slightly higher and trending towards the positive as well. Minimal losses for the corn. September corn down 1/2 cent to $3.82 1/4. December to $3.99 1/4. That's down 1/2 cent as well. Soybeans taking the brunt of the hit, but still minimal movement today. August soybeans down 2 3/4 at $10.25 3/4. September to $10.12 3/4. That's 1 3/4 lower. August soybean meal is up 1.10 at $3.55.20. However, soy oil is a bit weaker. August down 79 points at $42.51. Cotton also a bit weaker. December cotton down 79 at $68.20. If we take a a stroll down Wall Street now. We see the Dow Jones sharply lower, nearly 1.5% in the red. Currently down 581 at 40,261. The S&P is down 81 at 5,440. And the NASDAQ down 416 at 237, heading for one of the worst days since the month of May. Taking a look in the energy markets, crude oil down 92 at 76.99. Unleaded gas down 4 at 240 a gallon. Heating oil down 2 at 241. And natural gas down 2 at 201.
At Rusty at Ford, it's the dog days of summer, and we have the coolest deals on the hottest models. Get treated like top dog with sizzling deals on the 2024 Escape, Expedition, Edge, and the best-selling truck in America for 47 years, the Ford F-150. 0% APR for 36 months, or 2023 Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, 0% APR for 60 months, or 2023 Mach-E, 0% APR for 72 months. Get your paws on a new ride during our Dog Days of Summer sales event, only at Rusty Eck Ford. 0% APR on 2024 Escape, Expedition, Edge, and America's #1 selling truck, the F-150. Visit Rusty Eck Ford or rustyeckford.com today. Escape 1667 per thousand financed. Mach-E 1389 per thousand financed. 2024 is 2777 per thousand financed. Plus taxes and fees. Offers can be combined with approved credit. Must finance with Ford Motor Credit.
Summer heat got you fired up? Stop by Twin Rivers, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Beatrice and cool down with amazing deals on new and used vehicles. Twin Rivers has incentives and rebates on almost all new vehicles in stock, and they've slashed prices on the whole used lot. Something for everyone at Twin Rivers, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Beatrice. Stop in anytime on West Court Street or go online anytime to twinriv.com. Twin Rivers, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Beatrice.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. After a substantial decline 2 weeks ago, the number of weekly unemployment claims registered a dramatic rise last week. 249,000 claims for jobless benefits were filed in the week leading up to July 27th. That is the highest in a year. Those numbers are helping to drive a stock market retreat. The Dow Jones headed into the midday 500 points below its opening. The S&P was off 0.8%. The NASDAQ was down 1.2%. 6 years after its parent company, Toys R Us, cratered, Babies R Us is making a comeback. Kohl's is opening Babies R Us locations inside its existing stores. It plans to have 200 by the end of September. And a plant disease has you paying more for your morning OJ. The USDA says a condition known as citrus greening is threatening the entire industry from Florida to California. Orange juice prices are up 80% in the last few years. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Tune in for the auction calendar weekdays during our noon news block on KNDY. Upcoming auction details for Northeast Kansas and Southeast Nebraska. Household, collectibles, real estate, farm, or business auctions. If you're planning a sale, be sure your auctioneer advertises on KNDY. In addition to our daily updates on air, check out the auction calendar online. We provide the complete sale bills at KNDYradio.com for those advertising with us. The least expensive, most comprehensive way to reach all of Northeast Kansas and Southeast Nebraska with radio KNDY and online KNDYradio.com. Tell your auctioneer you want the power of radio working to your best advantage. Call our sales team for rate quotes and complete details. Find out more by checking out the auction calendar online at KNDYradio.com.
Celebrating 50 years on your FM dial. The Blue Valley's best country. 95.5 KNDY FM, Marysville. Now ABC News.